I'm now joined by Professor Bheki Mngomezulu to discuss these developments of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Let me first perhaps ask you to give me just your take on what we've just, what has just been confirmed, because we've known about this for a couple of weeks now.
Good afternoon, Budvu, and good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, indeed, this is not news anymore. We knew that this was going to happen, and we also knew that some members of the ANC who were not necessarily part of the PEC would come in as part of this reconfiguration process. So what has just happened today was a confirmation of what was already out there in the public, whether through leaks, as Mbalula said, or any other avenues, but the reality is that we expected that something was going to happen, and then definitely the reconfigured PEC in KwaZulu-Natal then was going to be something totally different from what we knew before.
Well, in the past, I mean, provincial task teams have never really, I mean, certainly in most cases, escaped, you know, the factionalism that they would have been brought in to try and deal with. I don't know how or whether even things are going to be different this time around.
Your observation is on point, Budvuyo. Basically, the question becomes, is there any level in the leadership of the organization that is not factional? My answer is no, there isn't. You start from the branch level, go to the region, go to the provinces in the case of PECs, you go to the National Working Committee, and then you go to the NEC, and even to the top 7. And then you ask yourself the question, is there no factionalism? The answer is yes, there is. So then definitely it means that you just look at what will be the best option under the circumstances, not necessarily saying that you are bringing people who are not factional. Some might not be open, but then others, you know which faction they belong to, and then that makes it difficult for those who are on the other side of the political divide.
Interestingly, the chairperson, or the person who was the chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is now a deputy provincial convener. And I was trying to compare or contrast that with what they did in Gauteng, where they made Panyaza Lesufi a co-convener.
Yeah, it's interesting indeed. Of course, those of us who are watching this from a distance will indicate, will state that our observation is that the confidence level that the ANC had on the former chairperson, Sponiso Duma, has gone down. But then, of course, they didn't want to rock the boat, as it were. So that is why they retained him in a position of some sort. But obviously, it's a downgraded position from the one he held before. And you are correct in saying that in drawing parallels with what happened in Gauteng. Under normal circumstances, you would have expected that because the ANC was dealing with the two provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, then they were going to apply the same rule. But this was not the case. As to why they did that, only the leadership of the ANC would have answers to that.
Again, I don't know what the rationale is. I mean, some people say, oh, these are tried and tested cadres of the movement and so on. But I mean, Jeff Radebe is going to be the convener. You also have like Mike Mabuyakul, of course, the deputy provincial convener is going to be Weziwe Tus. Again, if you look at Gauteng, you have your Amos Masondo being the co-convener. And there isn't, which suggests to some people that there is no thinking out of the box, really, in line with the renewal that the ANC has been talking about. Why aren't there, in both instances, at the helm, young people who are going to bring in new thinking, fresh blood, and all the other arguments that some people or other people have made?
Yes, indeed. We've been talking about this intergenerational mix. but it's been only in theory. We have never applied it. You look at government itself, unlike other governments like we saw in Botswana, for example, where they made statements and then they followed up with action. In our case, it's something totally different. We've been talking about this intergenerational mix. We've been talking about the youth being distant, so to speak, and then saying that you want to create a space for them to express themselves. But then when it comes to the practical side of things, we are found wanting. This is one example that we are citing where one would have expected that as much as you bring in your seasoned politicians, but then you also bring in fresh blood for the reasons we've just stated. That, of course, some of these strategies have been tried and tested in the past. You now need to infuse new blood. People are going to come up with the new ideas, and then you can test those ideas and see if indeed they work or not. But to keep the youth out there and keep promising them that, by the way, tomorrow you'll be our leaders, I think it's not fair, because these are the people who are going to lead this country anyway.
Interestingly, in both provinces, the secretaries have been kicked out. And curiously, though, the person who's presiding over this whole process, Bheki Mngomezulu, the Secretary General of the ANC, is very safe and comfortable, which brings me to another issue, the responsibility, or whether the national leadership of the ANC is prepared to also take responsibility for the party's misfortunes in both these provinces.
That is the main question, Podvuyo. A couple of weeks ago, and even as recently as this week, I've been saying that for me, the decision to reconfigure the two provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, was not a wise decision. And I was happy when one of the journalists asked the question, are you going to do the same in Mpumalanga? Are you going to do the same in the Northern Cape? In fact, even worse, if you look at all 9 provinces in this country, there is not a single province where the ANC did better than it did, it performed in 2019. So then basically then it means that in all 9 provinces, the ANC did not do well in the just concluded election on the 29th of May 2024. Ideally, I would have expected a situation whereby the ANC would ask a very pertinent question. Why did we perform so badly in the 29 May 2024 general election? Come up with the reasons and then rectify those, instead of focusing on the 2 provinces. Of course, if you ask Bheki Mngomezulu or you ask anyone from the leadership of the ANC, they are going to give you 2 reasons why they chose KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. They are saying that in terms of population, these 2 are the biggest, which is factually correct. They are also going to tell you that in terms of the economic growth, these 2 provinces are very critical. But that's neither here nor there. The reality is the ANC did not do well in all 9 provinces. So if you focus on these 2 provinces, what are you going to say then about the other 2? That is Mpumalanga and Northern Cape. In fact, most importantly, why are you not saying anything about the Western Cape, whose performance was less than that of Gauteng? So there are a number of questions that arise, but of course, the ANC seems comfortable with the 2 reasons why they chose KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. As an outsider, I'm not convinced at all.
In fact, it would seem that they are in for yet another shocker. That's if the Social Research Foundation's latest polling is anything to go by. I haven't read or gone through the actual research and all of its outcomes, but among the key issues is that it says and mind you, the Social Research Foundation in the run-up to the elections was the closest to being accurate about the outcomes of the May 29 poll. It says that the ANC is going to get won't get back above 50%. That in fact the ANC's guaranteed support has gone down by 13 percentage points from 45% 6 months ago. And to add to that, which then brings us again to the point we've just discussed about Fikile Mbalula and the rest of the leadership of the ANC. It also says that a majority also wants Cyril Ramaphosa to resign and spark another general election. This is according to this report by Biz News. Okay, we seem to have lost Prof's line there. What a pity. Well, this latest poll, certainly as reported in Biz News, sounds rather interesting. The outcomes of it will hopefully we'll be able to explore this further with the people behind it, including, of course, the methodology that they have used and what this could all mean. But we'll bring you more news after this short break. Don't go away.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool.
Oh. Hey. Hi, Pilar.
Hello, Putvuyo. Unjani?
All right, Wana.
Ngiyaphila nami.
Good. Junior.
Hey, Tavi.
How's it?
I'm well. How are you?
Our reporter Pilam Tembu, of course, attended that briefing of the ANC, where Secretary General Fikile Mbalula got into the detail of what they have decided, which is what we were discussing a short while ago, or getting some analysis of a short while ago from Professor Bheki Mngomezulu.